Commence primary ignition.
I'm making the executive decision to start with Republic. Are you guys good with that?
Do it.
All right.
Do it.
So, okay. So in the Republic, there's a lot of different options, right? I've been thinking about this a little bit today. But there are some staples you want to pick up, right? And the number one staple you want to pick up is for both of these factions, regrettably, the core set has things you'll need in it, like the second edition damage deck. This is the 2-player core set. Or you could buy either one of the Rebel or Empire core sets. I'm fingers crossed hoping that there comes out a Galactic Republic and CIS starter set soon. But you need a starter pack that includes templates, tokens, templates, initial tokens, damage deck, and dice, right? Like you need a starter kit, right? But starter kit and supplies aside, ship-wise, you're building into this faction or you're new to this faction, right? Republic has the Guardians of the Republic expansion pack. That's a 3-ship pack. I definitely recommend picking up that. I believe the retail on that is $50 or $60, but you can regularly get it on sale through somewhere like Miniature Market or Amazon, or sometimes even local stores will discount it because it's an older pack, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so picking up that gets you a Delta 7. It gets you 2 V19s. Now, you don't play a ton of the V19s, but they are playable, especially in like current points.
They made a comeback.
Yeah, they definitely made a comeback. Speaking of ships, popular current ships, right? Well, hang on. Before we get to the popular current ships, I will say, though, it is also worth your while to pick up the standalone Delta 7 expansion pack, because that is how you get Anakin Skywalker in the Delta 7, who is, especially for a newer player, Delta 7B Anakin is a great price, right? He's not like a points price, right? Like it's a really good points cost for a really powerful ship that is like a staple in the Republic faction. So like having access to the Delta 7B version of Anakin Skywalker is like a staple for every Republic player. Should own that ship, you should try it and enjoy it, right? Moving on, you definitely would want to pick up 1, probably 2 of the ARC 170 expansion. These are a little more expensive.
Really?
I believe they're $30 a piece, right? $30 a piece, but they're going to come with that medium base ARC 170, which is super valuable. And then the last thing you're going to want to pick up is going to go ahead.
I was just going to say, also right now you want to think that, so that's good also because there's currently points and the expansion packs that have these arcs that are exceptionally well priced in the game, and also it's thematic, and it's one of the best looking ships out there.
It's one of the best looking ships, and to your point, they're priced right now, but arcs have been playable since release, right? Mm-hmm. There hasn't been a points iteration where arcs were truly unplayable, right? Where they had been so priced out for whatever reason. Right. Sometimes it's different arcs that you play, like sometimes it's oddball, sometimes it's Jag or whatever. But right now, the hot ones are the ones I'm going to recommend, because the last thing I recommend for a new Republic player is the Siege of Coruscant expansion pack. Right? Mm-hmm. That's going to give you standard loadout cards for your V19s, which will make them better because these are better options than what comes in that initial box. And it's going to give you standard loadout cards for your arcs, which again are better options out of the box than what is going to come in that ARC 170 box, right? So like at the end of that day, I'll validate some prices, but ultimately you're going to end up with 2 Deltas, 2 V19s, and 2 arcs, right? And with that, you can mix and match and create a Jedi plus some friends. You could do an all clones list with that. You're probably not going to do a whole all clones list with just those. You probably want more clones if you wanted more stuff, like maybe a 3rd arc, or maybe you would pick up the V-Wing expansion pack, which is popular.
Yeah,
as well.
I was thinking definitely like if you could get 1 Nimbus V-Wing, they're so you could just throw those and the V19s like into so many little different. Gives you a lot of flexibility in regards to what you want to make. And on top of that, back to the arcs real quick. If something happens where you decide you want to use another faction in Rebels, it's the same ship and the same dial. You could just need different cards, so you could mix it up with the Rebels.
For someone who doesn't play Republic all that much, what's the difference between the Delta 7 and I know the difference between the 7 and the 7B, but do they come in the same box? Do you have to buy something else for it? Like, what's the deal with that?
That is a good question. The physical Delta 7 model is the same for the Delta 7B and the standard Delta 7. Originally, when they released, it was 2 configuration options, right? So, like, there's a config slot, and you could equip the calibrated laser targeting config, which would give you the CLT version, which is only 1 shield, 3 hull, and if you get a bullseye, you can do extra stuff. You can add dice, add results, right? And then there's the Delta 7B configuration, which gives you more attack dice. So it ups your attack to 3, decreases your defense, your agility dice to 2, and it gives you 2 extra shields. So you're at 3 hull, 3 shields, and you're just kind of a punchier ship, right? It's more of a jousty X-Wing equivalent style ship. But the physical model is the exact same.
But now they're like actually different pilot cards, though, right? Do those configs still exist physically? Was there like an errata? Like, what happened during the change?
Sure. So what they did was, good question.
I've just been like wondering this for years, and I just I don't play this faction, so it never really came up. But like, I was like,
so they used to be configs, and they were notoriously difficult to balance as configs, right? And it was like, at one point, the Delta 7B configuration card was a variable points cost depending on pilot initiative, and it cost as much as 24 points for Anakin to equip it.
This is in the 200 points.
In the 200 point scale, you'd have Anakin was like 50 points, but if he was 7B Anakin, he was like 75 points, right? So it was like really difficult to balance. Weird. So what AMG did with the change to the 2.5 list building was they said, this is a separate ship. It uses the same model, but it's a separate ship, right? So if you're buying the Delta 7 model, if you're buying the Delta 7 ship in the game, there is one configuration you can equip. It's calibrated laser targeting. It's 0 points. That's it, right? The other option is you can use for your list the Delta 7B. There is no config anymore. It's just a base pilot card is just different. But the abilities are the same. It's just it has the more shields and it has the different attack values.
Is the 7B pilot cards included in these Delta 7 expansion, or do I need to buy something else for that?
You don't need to buy anything. It's actually a print and play errata.
Oh, okay. So
you can just print those off. You can, however, if you somehow come into very valuable the Ahsoka Delta pack, I believe, has the 7B versions.
But like, why would anyone open that thing?
Right. Well, but then also Hot Shots and Aces Part 2 has for Adigalia pilot has the standard version and the 7B version printed on standard cardstock. So any new releases of these things are going to include both, as we've seen from new releases. Okay. But you have to just print it out.
But for if you wanted like the 7B versions of like the older pilots, then you either have to like print and play them yourselves, or find like a alt art card somewhere.
Yeah, there are some full arts, I believe, but I don't know if they're the 7B config. But you can also, you for like an official tournament, the rule of thumb is print it out on regular paper, and you put it in a card sleeve with the original card behind it, and that's good.
Okay.
Just so it can be referenced for text.
A little janky, but yeah, neat.
Little janky, but I also do know there are some people. So the errata document very specifically has the licensing information on it that states you're allowed to print it, like for personal use, like it is printable. So you could get it printed through a service like Drive Through Cards, or even at like a local print shop, right? You could get it printed on cardstock if you wanted to have your own special cards. You could do that.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, but that was my quick pick take here. I priced it out though. I'm using Miniature Market prices. Miniature Market is an online vendor, right? They are owned by Asmodee. who
Are they
also
really?
owns Atomic Mass. Yeah, they were purchased last year or 2 years ago or something like that. Yeah,
What?
so they're owned by Asmodee. So Miniature Market, so they do discount their prices a little bit. So we're going off Miniature Market prices here. We're talking
How much is their Guardians of the Republic?
38.
I gotta tell you something, man.
You got it even cheaper. You got it
yeah,
cheaper.
not even
Price
on
alert,
purpose.
baby.
Not even on purpose. I saw Google Guardians of the Republic, and then the first one that pops up was through a website called Wizards Play Network Premium. I'll send you the link. And this is ridiculous. I'm glad I don't need it, but the Guardians of the Republic pack.
Are we sending people to a scam website?
I hope
Yeah, that
not.
sounds sketchy.
It does. I
Just
don't
a
know if it's
little
the
bit.
first one though, but it says the Guardians of the Republic Squadron for $25.43.
That's not crazy. I've seen it on sale around holiday time sometimes. When
Yeah, this is for October only. But
yes,
wow,
everybody's favorite
super
holiday
cheap.
month, October. Get your Christmas shopping in now.
They got like everything cheap though. Damn, that's pretty good. Just saying.
Listen, give them offer code YAXP for even more money. Oh no, don't do that. We don't have an offer code.
Can you see people like, yeah, but I put the code in it. It didn't work.
But okay, so just real quick, I priced it out Miniature Market wise. Those things I mentioned. So that's Guardians of the Republic, standalone Delta 7, 2 ARC 170s, and Siege of Coruscant pack. That is going to run you $140.
That's good.
It is good, right? And
Yeah.
compare that to the price of getting into something like Warhammer. It is still cheap, and this is actually on the upper level of what it would cost to get into X-Wing. And like we said, you could swap out that. You don't necessarily need to jump right into that additional Delta 7 if you didn't want to run a lot of Jedi. You could get a V-Wing for $20 instead, or if you wanted to tack a V-Wing on, those are $20 expansions themselves, right? So, you could spend up to $200 and end up with a V-Wing and a Naboo, and then you end up with like a ton more list building options, right? Like some of these popular meta lists are including 2 of the ARC 170s from the Siege of Coruscant pack, right? They're including Kickback, the V19 from the Siege of Coruscant pack. Axe is also getting some play from the Siege of Coruscant pack, right? So it's 2 V19 ships right there. And then, like I said before, Delta 7B Anakin is a staple card. Mace Windu is a great buy in the 7B.
There's so
right
many
now.
Jedis. Yeah.
There's so many Jedi. Flying 2 Jedi with some clones is like a really thematic, thrilling list. Like we were talking in the pre-show, or was it pre-show? I don't know. We were talking about the Tartakovsky Clone Wars before, right?
Mm-hmm.
These ships are iconic from that and from the Clone Wars cartoon series, right? Like, and they just look great on the table. So I really can't recommend them enough.
And on top of that,
that's what I recommend for a new player in Republic.
On top of that, the Jedi, they have Force, and it's fun to use the Force in the game.
Force is extremely powerful.
Yeah.
I can't help but notice the important omission that I don't think you mentioned the LAT. Did you mention the LAT?
I did not mention the LAT.
I know they're a little expensive right now, but that is like an iconic ship.
It's a good looking ship.
Oh, so yeah, so it's definitely an iconic ship. I own it. I love it. I've flown a ton of it. Right. I won my first tournament with a LAT ever back in late 2nd edition days. Right. I really love the LAT. Right. But
priced out currently.
So if you're looking at a perspective from like, I'm a new player who wants to start playing X-Wing today and I want to buy into Republic, I think there is a better use of your gaming dollar to purchase these other ships first. Obviously, rule is cool. If like the LAT is your favorite ship, buy the LAT, right? Like, for sure.
If they're trying to speed run, learn the game, and play meta lists, yeah, probably. But
not even play meta lists necessarily. Right? Like I'm not even saying like medalists. Like we can put together with the stuff I mentioned, we could put together a really great like theme list. Here, I'm throwing one together right now that is like not let's see, we need to do
and just use the ARC 170 as to build around, yeah.
Well, I'm saying you could do Anakin 7B, Obi-Wan Kenobi in the CLT. So that's Anakin and Obi-Wan. Classic combo plus 2 ARC 170s. Visually, it's like this is. I listen. Don't come at me
It's one step away from the
Kennedy.
Coruscant fight, yeah.
Exactly what I'm saying. They're not in the Edit 2 Actus, but it's basically the opening of Revenge of the Sith, right? Those arcs come screaming in. They look great right above the surface of Coruscant, and you get the big fight happening around them, and then Anakin and Obi-Wan are there. And you get the Anakin and Obi-Wan paint jobs with the Delta 7s, right? Because the standalone expansion is Anakin's paint job, and the Guardians of the Republic is Obi-Wan's paint job. So, like, you get, like, that right there is a really easy new player list that's going to give you a lot of options and, like, be good to play at local game night for not a ton of money, which is great.
Done. Sold.